Hi, everybody. We are Kelsi and Paul from Wrestling Inc.'s Two-Face Wrestling Talk, and we are here to review New Japan Pro Wrestling's Dominion show that just ended literally a few minutes ago. You know, everyone, I'm sure, is ready to talk about Jericho versus Okada, but I think we should go through the earlier matches first and then build up to reviewing Okada versus Jericho. What do you think, Paul?
As everybody files in, as you like to say,
Yes.
we'll kind of go through the show. So let's start at the beginning. Moxley versus Shota.
Yeah, Moxley versus Shota. I really like Shota a lot. I think Umino has a lot to give in the future. I'm really excited about his future. He's an awesome young lion. I think he's got great prospects for the future. Just a lot of talent there. It was a short match. I would have liked to have seen it be a lot longer because to me, I mean, that Moxley Juice match was really intense and stuff. And for the first defense, everyone knew that Moxley was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
But because Umino went toe-to-toe with Tanahashi in New Japan Cup, I believe it was, I feel like because of that, Umino showed that he can go a long time and go against New Japan's best. So that's why I think overall that match could have been longer.
I guess it was funny that Shota came launching out prior to the bell and took the fight to Moxley. I thought that was interesting. And then Shota was throwing those forearms and Moxley's like, he's like, one more time, like, is that all you got?
Yeah.
I thought that was good. Look, I think Moxley deserves kind of an easier match, but a chance to start the show and then, of course, make his proclamation at the end of the match, which was very exciting that he's going to be in G1. And obviously, to me, this makes sense for him to be in Dallas.
Yeah.
Kind of a big FU to WWE, too, to come right back into America and have be a part of a big show for New Japan.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool. I can't wait to see what he's going to do. The matchup possibilities are just endless. In fact, I want to read a tweet from one of our good friends, Zach. So Zach said, we have to talk about the passive possibilities. He said, and he's at ZACSHI130. I just realized some dream fights that could happen in G1. Kenta versus Suzuki, Kenta versus if he enters Osprey, Suzuki versus Osprey, Mox versus Suzuki, Osprey versus Mox, Kenta versus Mox. You and Paul need to discuss these possibilities. Yeah, all of those sound amazing. And again, we'll get to Kenta in a little while because that's huge news as well, that he's not going back to Noah. Of course, formerly known as Hideo Itami, showing up in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Shibata's pointing to the stage for like what feels like forever.
Like hit the music or hit something.
Yeah, it felt like so long, so much time had passed. But then Kenta comes out, crowd goes wild. At home, I was like, what? This can't be. It was insane. We've got Canadian Zudomon saying Kenta versus...
Zudomon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Zudomon. I'm so tired right now. I apologize. Kenta versus Okada. Kenta versus Naito. Great matchups there. Man, the possibilities are just endless and really blow my mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll over the course of the show as we go through some of the results, because there are a lot of people that declared for the G1. I thought that was interesting. In fact, I even said before the Shingo Kojima match, I said it'd be kind of cool if Shingo now declares his intentions for G1. And of course, right after he won it, he did as well.
He did, but here, let's go talk about Shingo, but also fast forward to Osprey at the same time. So Shingo declares that he wants to, fight amongst heavyweights and fight in the G1. Osprey has been saying this, that he wants to bridge the gap between junior weights and heavyweights. And yet he didn't announce he was going to be in the G1. Maybe they just didn't want to have too many announcements in a short period of time. And maybe there is still a chance for Osprey going in. And I think you have to have Osprey going in. Although he just won the junior heavyweight title, I think he was successfully bridging that gap even before he won the title. I think with the title, he could still do that. In fact, I predicted that he could be one of the people that kind of bridges the gap between the two divisions and walks across a soft line. Like, it's not a hard line in the sand, but a soft one. So on our podcast on Friday, I said that he could possibly do that. And I still think that's a possibility, especially if Shingo, who just lost against Osprey in the finals is going to go in. However, you could argue, to counter my own point, you could say that, well, Shingo's trying to prove that he can hang with the heavyweights like Osprey's already proven when he was defending his never openweight title. He was, proving that he could hang back then, and how good he did in the tournament. He doesn't need anything to prove. You could say that Shingo has more to prove, and that's why he's entering into the G1. Osprey doesn't need to prove anything. However, I still would like to see it happen.
I've got a shorter answer to this. Shingo looks like a heavyweight. I question whether he ever was a junior heavyweight, and so this totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Mike Banks demanding that we talk about Juice Robinson.
I talked about Juice Robinson so much this week for like an hour, saying that he was not a B+ player, that he was an A player. Of course, he was just in a multi-man tag match tonight. His team did win. I actually predicted that the Bullet Club faction would win in that multi-man tag match. It was Tanahashi, Juice, and who was the third person?
With the Taguchi.
Oh yeah, Taguchi, my boy Taguchi. How could I forget? Like I said, it's early for us here. Paul's the really more tired one, but I'm coming off like I'm really tired. But I love Juice. I think he's an A player. I'd love to see him have more really high caliber singles matches coming up soon. Only time will tell. People are speculating that he might be in the G1 and have a really good showing, which would do wonders for him and his place on the card, I think.
Let's move on to the next match. Back to Shingo real quickly, though. Don Callis made a good point that, because they kept emphasizing he wants to be a heavyweight. He wants to be a heavyweight. But he also said it wouldn't be very good for his status if he lost to a 48-year-old heavyweight in Kojima. And Kojima really dominated that match early, for most of the match. So,
well, he's a legend. Kojima is a legend. So to me, it made sense. You have to find that balance. You don't want to have Shingo just squash him.
Right. All right. But if he's supposedly going to be this dominant heavyweight, I mean, he kind of should have squashed him.
But it's a legend heavyweight. You know what I mean? I don't know. I could see both sides. I really can. Mike Banks continues on about the Juice comment. Juice is improving. He looks better with the beard. Think he looks serious with the haircut. Needs more serious trunks, though.
Yeah, well,
I like the trunks. I like the silly factor.
Hey, I like these trunks a lot better than his capris with the giant cuts out the side of them. Those were the worst.
Yeah.
Zack Sabre Jr. and Suzuki against Yoshihashi and Jushin Thunder Liger. The endless build between Suzuki and Thunder Liger. When is that payoff coming? When do you guys think it is? I mean, do you really think it's going to go all the way to Wrestle Kingdom? I mean, that is one long build if that's the case.
I mean, I don't think it's going to go that far. It can't go that far. And, I mean, it could technically, but I don't think it will. That's an insane amount of time. However, yeah, they've been building this singles matchup forever. When is it going to happen, New Japan Pro Wrestling? When? I have no idea, but I'm really eager to see it, I gotta say.
Yeah, well,
they put a lot of effort into it.
Certainly is flinging a lot of chairs at each other. Canadian Zunaman again saying that he thinks it'll be Wrestle Kingdom, and I tend to agree. I mean, it just seems like that they're just basically setting almost a 10, 11-month stage to this.
Well, I mean, the whole premise is retirement. Suzuki saying he wants to retire Liger, so that would be the final match for Liger. Right. So maybe that will happen. That would make sense story-wise.
Mike Banks has a counter, though. He says he thinks the payoff's going to be soon, that it's too long to Wrestle Kingdom, and the storyline will burn out.
Like I said, it could easily burn out. It's a long time to wait to have the payoff, like Banks is saying right now. But I thought the tag match that he was in with Zack Sabre Jr. was good. However, I'm super surprised at the result. How could it be that Yoshihashi pinned Zack Sabre Jr.? Now, I know since he's come back from injury, Yoshihashi has looked good, and on the whole, he's been booked better, mostly. So he has been kind of on an upward swing in a way. And so I guess it's not that surprising, but Zack Sabre Jr. gets pinned by him? Come on. At least it wasn't Suzuki, though. So that makes sense. Side note, we're going to get back into the matches, but I really love Callis and Kevin Kelly back together on commentary. I think their chemistry is amazing. Just to me, I love Rocky Romero on commentary. I love, of course, Excalibur on commentary, but I feel like the best chemistry out there is Callis and Kelly. And then my good friend Steve from Going in Raw, he said that actually he likes Kevin Kelly and Callis, but he likes Kelly and Corino better, and he loved their calls on Wrestle Kingdom 11 on the commentary there. So I could see you liking Steve Corino, but I don't know, something about Callis with Kelly together, and they're back and forth, and Callis's quibs and little insults, they're just magic. I just love them together. He had some good lines tonight throughout the show.
Well, I mean, we were just talking about Suzuki and Thunder Liger, and Callis says he thinks they shouldn't even book Suzuki and Jushin Thunder Liger because Suzuki's going to kill him. No, I agree with you. Callis and Kelly together are great. And look, I joke about Kevin Kelly because he kind of whines on the broadcast when his table gets destroyed or his chair gets, or they take his water or whatever. He comes across whiny. But look, the dude is a pro. Yeah. I mean, just all you got to do is go through this Best of Super Juniors. He and Caprice worked well together, even though Caprice took a little while to find his footing. Juice was great with him. And Gino Gambino, who I like a lot, really. Yeah, he's fun. I think he could be the second coming of Callis as a mainstay, as an analyst, because they work together as well. Similar styles, so I can see that. They do have a lot of similarities. That's funny, the second coming of Callis. That's great. I like that as the official tagline for Gino. And not quite as creepy as Callis. So. Well, Callis isn't as creepy on New Japan commentary as he is on Impact. To me, that's ultimate creepy Callis. Otherwise, in New Japan, I think he's much better, much sharper, and has a lot more poignant points, if I can say. That's a tongue twister right there. Well, he did have the one line during Evil and Sonata's match when Sonata was up on the ropes, trying to get the love from Osaka, and Kevin Kelly's like, he's trying to determine which town is his favorite, and Callis says, yeah, much like my dating life, or that's reflective of my dating life. So overall, we'll get to the bigger matches in a second. What is your grade for this show as a whole? To me, I just think that it's not my favorite Dominion. It was a great show. It was very good. But in terms of, the card ahead of time, I wasn't as pumped up as past Dominions. I can name a whole bunch of past Dominion matches that I love. This card was decent, and it turned out really good, but still not my favorite. Yeah, I mean, all the matches were good, or decent. I mean, it's one of those things, sometimes I feel like it's hard for me to gauge, especially after working a 12-hour day today, trying to get a little nap in before watching this. I don't know if I had my full, attentiveness as I normally would. I know I was dragging towards the end of Jericho and Okada, but I mean, it was a B probably. I mean, Dragon Lee and Osprey, which we'll get to in a minute, was fantastic. And there were some great moments. But yeah, a B, I think. A B? I don't know. I guess I would say B plus or A minus. It's hard. It's really hard to determine which one I want to grade it as. I really don't know. Well, and I think on the grading thing, I thought about it. We do these grading systems on all these pay-per-views. Yeah. I think it's a B by New Japan standards. I think it would be, if this was a WWE show and it had this, I think you'd be saying probably an A minus to B plus. But by New Japan standards, maybe a B. But I agree with Nigel in that he said the G1 announcements help make the show can't miss, because we certainly had a bunch of those tonight. Also, I think the result in Osprey versus Dragon Lee, because to me, that was the match that could go either way. A lot of the other matches, I kind of really thought they had an easy conclusion to come to. You could kind of just pick who was going to win. Whereas the Osprey Dragon Lee match, either guy winning would have worked for storylines going forward, especially if Hiromu returns soon, I hope. I mean, geez and Pete's. They tease videos like he's been watching. They keep talking about how his return is soon, yet he never shows up, and they keep missing these big surprise opportunities on these bigger shows to introduce him back to a larger audience now than when he was sidelined, than when he was last here in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So to me, I don't know. It's like, when is he coming back? But either way, either guy would have worked with Takahashi, who I think should be one of the stories going forward. However, we know that Osprey's first defense will be against Robbie Eagles. That will be awesome. Yeah. Because they've got a history. Their first match
in the recent Best of Super Juniors tournament, I loved. I thought it turned out really well. I love the whole reluctant heel character that Eagles is playing. So to see them two together again, I just think it's going to be an awesome, awesome match.
And Osprey, of course, they gave that backstory of how he kind of helped Eagles' career along. So that defense coming up when New Japan makes its tour into Australia. Let's continue on the card. Tai Chi versus Ishii. I thought it was good stat from Kevin Kelly saying that the never open weight title has changed. Well, he said 7 times initially, and then he said 8. I don't know if he was giving away the result when he changed it mid-match, but says it's changed 8 times since the last Dominion. So this is a belt that's very fluid. We've seen Jeff Cobb. We've seen Goto, Tai Chi a couple times. Yeah. Now Ishii with the victory tonight.
This is Ishii's 5th time with the title, the never open weight title, and I hope he holds it for a decent amount of time to build up that title again, because for a while, he was really making it very prominent, kind of like a hard-hitting title. Osprey elevated it a bit as well, but again, the changing of hands doesn't help things, and I think it should stay on Ishii for a while, because one, it makes Ishii relevant, because to me, Ishii's always relevant, but it gives him something to do and gives him a reason to be placed decently on any New Japan card, which I think he should be. But for a while, he was being left off the card because he didn't have a title, because, he was just kind of randomly paired up as a tag team with Yanu. So this gives him a reason, I feel like, to be higher up on cards, because he always delivers in matches, especially in U.S. matches. He's over with U.S. crowds, so take advantage of that. He's definitely more over than someone like Tai Chi. And they did announce that Ishii will be in Dallas, so we'll get to see him live again in person. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I love Ishii a lot. I mean, and he subtly shows his personality every now and then, like the laying in the ring, very cocky, waiting for Tai Chi to come back into the ring, and then Tai Chi, his facial expression as Tai Chi is kind of rubbing his face with the boot, and then Ishii just hammers him, clocks him after Tai Chi taunts him. I did like Callis's line back to Don Callis when he talked about missing Tai Chi's beautiful voice.
Yeah.
Singing. So.
Oh, God. Yeah. He was like, I missed his singing voice. Ridiculous. And then he says, it's the greatest move ever. Yeah. Where he rips off his Velcro pants. I love when Callis makes fun of his Velcro pants.
Yeah, I agree. So Ishii, the now never open weight title, and I concur Mike Banks. Hopefully he holds the belt for a little while so it has a little meaning. And it's not Pogo sticking back and forth around a bunch of people. GOD versus Evil and Sonata. And, we talked about it felt like these guys have gone against each other a bunch, but I think they've said the record was 3-2. It seems like they've faced off a lot more.
50 times, it feels like. But, and I don't know why that is, considering they've had the same amount of matches with, well, not the same amount, but they've had a lot of matches with the Briscoes lately.
Of late as well. But, I just love watching GOD. I love their cockiness. I love the things they say in the ring. I know a lot of times we're a PG podcast, so I can't use all the terminology. But Tongaloa, I love when he taunts Evil. He says, "Evil, I'm an effing champion. You got to bring it, bro." And then later, Tonga, after Evil got knocked out of the ring, he says, "Evil, let me help you up." I just love their cockiness. I love their facial expressions. Yeah. I love everything they do. They're just so great to me. I'm a huge fan of GOD, and I like when they have Jado with them swinging the kendo stick because he got involved in this match again tonight. And Bushi comes in, blows the mist in that was Jado's face.
I liked that little touch because Jado was interfering so much. So now Bushi comes in and interferes to help out. So I thought that was a good balance there.
Mike Banks is going to be on your crap list right now. He doesn't like your boys.
He doesn't like my boys. The Briscoes? No, I love the Briscoes. I think they're great, and I can't wait to see them versus God in a no DQ match. I believe it's taking place in Manhattan during Manhattan Mayhem. Of course, it's going to be a Ring of Honor show, and it should be awesome. Honestly, I can't wait.
Mike Banks is probably a little reflective of a lot of audiences. Remember when we were at Madison Square Garden, The Briscoes didn't get much of a pop, which shocked us a lot because I am with her. I love the Briscoes.
Yeah.
I like their whole just gritty, almost trashy mentality. I like them a lot, and I like the match that we saw them against God in Chicago on that Ring of Honor tour, and looking forward to them going up against each other again.
I like them because they seem like they are who they are versus somebody like the Usos. They seem like an act to me. Like, oh, we're tough guys. Especially when they turned heel after like being babyface for so long. Briscoes have always been the Briscoes. Yes, they can get silly and funny, but they've always been really hardcore dudes. That's always been their persona, regardless of Mark Briscoe acting ridiculous sometimes. But I love the ridiculousness because it still works him being like that, but also being like brutal and violent and ridiculously vulgar. I just love them so much, and I feel like it's really natural and real and raw.
I agree. Most people did seem at Madison Square Garden like they were definitely more there for the New Japan stars. You did point out something, speaking of New Japan stars and guys we saw not too long ago on that Ring of Honor tour. You think Evil and Sonata, I mean, I think we've seen this sort of happening, but you think maybe this match tonight was the impetus of them kind of going the singles route?
I do, because, you know, they've teased Sonata having a great singles push. I mean, he looks so good in the New Japan Cup tournament. He's looked so good in all of his singles matches this year. So to me, yeah, this could be the birth of him officially kind of just being a singles guy for a while exclusively. But that brings up a problem, you said. Well, about the tag division in general. It's not just the heavyweight division either. It's both junior and heavyweight tag divisions are kind of light.
Yeah, I think I've said before, I think they just need to have one tag team division. That the pools are too shallow in both. And if Evil and Sonata were to go singles routes, I mean, what are you going to do with those tag team titles? Who are going to be some of the challengers? You got to have some tag teams come together, like, you know, maybe in Bullet Club, Eagles and Phantasma will become a tag team.
Well, they're clashing right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, sort of, yeah. So
that would help lead to the blow up, though.
Yeah,
that I think eventually is going to happen with Eagles not fitting in with Bullet Club somehow.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to have to come up with some tag teams because the same guys are going against each other, you know, over and over, and the same thing's coming in the junior heavyweight. I mean, how many times have we seen Desperado and Kanemaru go against Yo and Sho, and or I think Bushi and whoever else from LIJ?
Well, to your point, Yo and Sho. I mean, Yo and Sho had a great showing in the Best of Super Juniors tournament, both of them. Everyone liked their singles matches and how they looked. But if you're going to separate them, you know, you're losing like your main tag team in the junior division right now.
No, I think it's got to be one division, and a couple people agreeing.
I don't know if that'll ever happen, though. I mean, the Bucks, they were trying to get New Japan people behind the scenes to agree to that for years, and they never did.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can argue there's too many belts in New Japan anyway, but I think certainly the way the tag team division is built, and, you know, with people like the Young Bucks gone, I just don't think there's enough depth to have two divisions, so merge it into one.
The tag division, yes. I'm fine with the heavyweight and junior weight singles titles still having separate divisions because I love those titles, and I think it creates a really big depth for New Japan and like their title picture because they've got so many great wrestlers that could be the top of the card, so they all have to be fighting for something, or at least, you know, a secondary title, or the top title if you're in the junior division. That's the top title of that division. So
let's move on. Before the Osprey Dragon Lee, as she alluded to a little while ago, we got the appearance of Shibata, and then him pointing back at the monitor, which seemed like it took forever. We were speculating, is Takahashi coming out? You know, is he just introing Dragon Lee? But of course, Kenta, also known as Hideo Itami, back in NXT, makes an appearance with a little subtle shot at NXT, wearing a shirt that said TakeOver, but it was not obviously NXT TakeOver. I thought that was kind of an interesting little dig.
Did you guys think it was a dig? Because I definitely thought it was a dig.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd love to hear people watching in the comments just shout out if you thought that shirt was a dig or not, because I definitely do think that I mean, there's no way that could be a coincidence at all. No way. It was awesome, though, to see him, because I did not expect that in 100 years, that on that show, he would be the person who came out. I really was hoping that we would get one more surprise and it would be Takahashi, because it's just been so long. And as I said a few minutes ago, they keep teasing it, and yet he never shows up. So come on, New Japan, release my boy, let him loose. But I know he has to heal up. The more important thing is that he is healthy and ready to go, because he does wrestle a really intense, dangerous style. So if it has to be a longer time for his safety, I'm all for that too, though.
So Kenta comes out, announces his intentions for G1, and then we moved on to Osprey and Dragon Lee, the match of the night. No surprise there.
Yeah, I really thought that was my match of the night for sure. Like, no contest at all. I knew going in that was going to be my favorite, because I just, on paper, I love everything Osprey does.
Well, and I love everything about Dragon Lee as well. And so these two were a great match. Dragon Lee coming in as a champion. Kevin Kelly telling us that as Osprey came in as the Best of Super Juniors winner, that the Super Juniors winners were 6-10 in challenging for the junior heavyweight title. So not a good history, although 3 of the last 5 have been successful in getting the belt. And Osprey would look to make that 4 out of 6.
I like how Callis said, he described Osprey as, it's crazy how he's better now than before, because when you're as good as Osprey, it's nuts to think that you can get even better, but somehow Osprey does. And I say that on our podcast all the time. Then Callis literally used the phrase, he's a high ceiling athlete. I loved that description of Osprey, because I think it's so appropriate to describe him and his athletic abilities. High ceiling. It's just like, there is no limit for this guy. He's incredible.
Well, the iconic moment of this match, I've said it all through Best of Super Juniors. The Dragon Lee suicide dives, he comes out with such velocity, and they're so impressive. So as soon as he set Osprey on the railing, I'm like, he's going to do a suicide dive through Osprey onto the table, and that's exactly what he did. And it was spectacular. Chris Charlton's like, don't do this, like almost pleading for Dragon Lee not to do it. And Dragon Lee takes out like 3 people. The one Japanese announcer who always seems to get taken out got taken out. But you noticed something on the replay, just a subtle little thing that Red Shoes did that maybe a lot of the viewers didn't notice.
Yeah, because,
I didn't notice it.
Well, I mean, I think people probably notice. I'm not sure how many people, but so Red Shoes is sticking his body through the ropes, kind of acting like he's checking on Osprey, but I could tell what he was really doing was holding the ropes apart a little bit for Dragon Lee to go through the 2 ropes. I thought that was awesome. So on the replay, you could really tell he's like basically kind of holding the ropes, like pushing with his upper body and pushing down with his hands.
Yeah.
So I thought it was great, because obviously he needed to get the distance for that. That was an insane spot.
Right.
I really was like, oh my God, is he going to do this? Don't do this. And in fact, I think Chris Charlton was like, don't do it. God, no.
Yeah,
or whatever
like
he said.
Crying almost. It is Red Shoes does that, checking on the athletes a lot. So it didn't seem out of place. Like, it didn't seem like an obvious thing that he was helping Dragon Lee out there.
No, it wasn't obvious at all. I liked Osprey's corkscrew moonsault to the floor. I thought that looked pretty. There was so many great, like, fast-paced sequences. Just when I thought Osprey couldn't have a better match than his Shingo match, I like this match just as much. I wouldn't say better. I would say just as much. Because to me, the Shingo versus Osprey match during the Best of Super Junior finals might be my match of the year right now, so far. I mean, it could always change, but that's my match right now.
Yeah, I love the Hurricane, going back to the Shingo. Remember, we saw where Will flipped like he was going to land on his feet, but there was such velocity that he ended up landing on his back. This time, Dragon Lee goes to do a Hurricane Rana off the apron and
to the outside
onto the floor, and Osprey lands on his feet. And almost as good as that move was seeing Kevin Kelly and Don Callis in the background, and the look of shock and just amazement by both of them. Like Kevin Kelly's like, oh, like
that was insane. I mean, I loved that because it was such a cool camera angle and everything, and you could like see Dragon Lee being like, "What the heck?" and everyone else was like, "Oh," like you said, they were reacting like it was the coolest thing.
And then Dragon Lee doing the stomp onto the floor, which could have been bad because he slipped as he landed, but luckily wasn't hurt. And in the end, a hidden blade, Oscutter off the corner, Stormbreaker, and Osprey is your new junior heavyweight champion. So he says Eagles is next for him, but we'll see if Takahashi maybe down the road as well.
I think the story would be so perfect. Imagine the splash, and I know I said this on our podcast. If you guys are longtime listeners or faithful listeners, I just said it. Takahashi would make a huge splash if he came back and beat Osprey, who just won the Best of Super Juniors tournament and who just beat Dragon Lee, who was the champion. So how crazy would that be if Takahashi comes in and beats him? And it's like, wow, Takahashi's back.
Yeah.
That would be a huge story.
I'm not sure which move Mike's referring to when he asked if we got hyped for that move. If he's asking us if we got as hyped as Kelly and Callis, we did not quite scream like they did, but it was pretty impressive. Will landing onto the floor. The finish surprising to Nigel Coleman. He was sure it was all a setup for Dragon Lee and Takahashi.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that could have definitely been a possibility, considering Dragon Lee was the one who took out, not on purpose, of course, he took out Takahashi. So really, the cool thing about this match is, like I said earlier, it could have gone either way, and it would have worked beautifully. So that's why I thought it was really neat. Anything could have happened, and when matches are like that, you really buy in and really suspend your disbelief, in my opinion, because anything could happen, and that makes the best matches.
Question here: if he did come back and beat Osprey, where would the story go for Osprey? So if Osprey were to turn around and lose to Takahashi,
that would be a big blow for Osprey, and that would be really hard to recover from, because then you're almost establishing Takahashi as the top junior heavyweight. But maybe shortly after, he just tries to transition to heavyweight full time, and Takahashi becomes your main face junior heavyweight for a while instead of Osprey. And he makes the full-on transition, even after losing. Like, maybe he'll have like a few matches, but then make the transition to bounce back.
Next match was the Intercontinental match between Naito and Ibushi. These two also have gone against each other a bunch of late. Even the announcer saying that this rivalry needs to come to an end. But it is really good, these two, when they get in the ring. I did make a quick look. I never noticed this stuff, but Kota Ibushi, his ring gear never changes. It's guys try different costumes, all this stuff. Like the Young Bucks, every time they come out, they have a different costume, right?
Right.
Ibushi, I don't think his ring attire has changed, but maybe once or twice ever.
Yeah, it's funny because when you made that observation, I was like, that's a great observation. I've never thought of that before, but it makes total sense. Everyone else has different things, but he never does. He's always wearing those same shorts.
Naito, it's funny. The crowd is so torn on him because they love him. They love LIJ. And at the same time, he was getting serious fan heat during this match of them booing him and stuff. So it's so funny to see a guy the crowd turns on so quickly back and forth during a match.
Yeah, it's nuts. But this match, going in I wasn't super pumped up. It did deliver, but man, that brutal spot, that was scary. They replayed it in slow motion, and of course, we're talking about where basically Ibushi hits the side of his head and part of his neck on the corner,
Naito,
the edge of the apron.
Naito suplexing him down. You didn't know if it was going to be on the apron or to the floor, and I'm not really sure which one it was supposed to be.
It was like he did it in between.
Right. So the slow-mo of Ibushi's head hitting the corner of the apron, how he's not seriously hurt is beyond me, because that was frightening to see a replay of. And but somehow, because Ibushi seems to be indestructible,
yeah,
he got right back into it.
Yeah, I mean, how did Ibushi continue on after that? I have no idea. It was insane. I was like, how are they still going on with this match? And then more brutal spots to his neck throughout the whole rest of the match. I know someone actually made a comment like, I like realistic wrestling, but that was a little too realistic for me. And I understand because that replay was disturbing. And I use that word on purpose because I think it's an accurate term to describe how weird it was to rewatch that. It was cringeworthy, honestly.
Nigel Coleman said he survived it because lots of neck exercises, but I think it was just as much Ibushi hitting the side of his head. So I
don't think it was as much his neck as like his head.
Yeah. So I was more worried about a concussion right there in that moment. Naito also hit a Hurricane Rana on hitting Ibushi on his head off the top rope. He had a reverse DDT. I do think Naito, I got to be careful how I say this. He seems, and maybe it's just the way he looks wrestling, but it sometimes seems like he's kind of reckless. I mean, some of the ways, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like he's as protective as sometimes other wrestlers are in other dangerous moves.
I can understand your concern. I don't know how to defend that though. I mean, I'm trying to, but his style is the more brutal style, and that's why he worked so well with Jericho, and that's why I think he worked better with Jericho, let's say, than Okada.
Right.
Like Okada and Jericho have a clash of styles. Naito fit perfectly with like the more brawling type of style Jericho's working in his later years when he debuted in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I will give it to Jericho though. He has freshened up his more traditional in-ring wrestling because he's been training a lot, and you could tell that. You could tell that even back when he faced Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing. He definitely went longer in the ring. It wasn't just about putting people through tables the whole time or throwing tripods on people like he did with Naito back at Dominion when they had their match together. So in this match with Jericho and Okada, I guess we're fast-forwarding now to talk about the main event. I feel like overall, it wasn't that bad. Some people were complaining, saying it was too sloppy. I know my friend Courtney was saying that she thought that Okada didn't like wrestling to Jericho's style, and you could tell it was off the way that they were wrestling together, and that Jericho basically was forcing Okada to like wrestle down to him. I could see that, but overall, the match didn't bother me. What did bother me is I didn't like the roll-up ending.
No, and I think you you kind of skipped a couple of the points you wanted to talk about, in the beginning of the match, starting with the video package that they always run before a championship match.
Yeah, I thought that the video package was awesome, but what was weird when he came out is that they didn't play his music because of copyright.
No, I meant the video package. You said you always like the champions.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. I was like, what are you talking about?
I'm the tired one. What's going on?
I don't know. Well, anyway, so at the beginning of every IWGP heavyweight title match, they have this awesome package where they show all the past champions, and I love it because it really makes the championship feel historic and important and epic, really, because you see everyone who's come before, and so this match means something. This winner, if it changes hands especially, will go down in history. If the title remains on the person who had it, then they've got a longer reign and a chance to get in the history books in another way. So to me, anyway you take it, that video package with the past champions is awesome. And really, I love that New Japan does that. And I've never commented on that before.
Hi, Zachary. Thanks for joining us. You started to talk about Jericho's entrance. The jacket I thought was really cool. I guess I'm really confused on the music rights because Jericho's entrance song is his song. It's his band's song. So I don't understand why there would be these copyright laws where you couldn't play it outside of Japan. I know that, Makabe, that happens with his, but Makabe is not performing his own song.
Yeah,
so
I know.
I don't understand that at all.
Well, some people actually tweeted out possibilities and reasons why it might be like altered now. Because if you remember when Chris Jericho first debuted with New Japan Pro Wrestling, that's what he came out to, because everyone was talking about how cool he's coming out to his own song outside of WWE. That's so neat. He's a true rock star. So he has used his song in New Japan before, which has made this even more confusing than before. But some people were saying, well, maybe it's because he's with AEW now and they own it, which could be. Maybe AEW is the one who wants to play his theme song, so now New Japan can't. Because that's the only thing that's changed, is that now Jericho's with AEW. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could be a possible reason why they can't use his music anymore.
Mike wants to know why you didn't like the roll-up finish. And
I know it's a wrestling move. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, and it's not the flippity stuff. It's more that Okada didn't hit a drop kick in this match. I don't think. If he did, I don't remember it.
You were tired. I don't know if you can say that definitively.
We didn't see the Rainmaker in full effect. So I think that more than anything, it just kind of changed us on what Okada does.
But I guess it was a brawl. It was a brawl / wrestling match, which is a weird thing. It wasn't an all-out brawl like his matches with Kenny or Naito. It was like a mixture between a brawl and a typical Okada match, but it wasn't at the level of a usual Okada match. So all these weird things interacting. I guess the roll-up finish isn't totally out of the realm of question of it working, but I just personally didn't like it. But yeah, I mean, it sets up some stuff at the end where Jericho's mad, he beats down Okada, and then Tanahashi comes in. So are we going to get Tanahashi Jericho? I think so. In the future. Yeah, I think that certainly was setting up for that, and there was a drop kick. That is right, Zach. I did. See, he zoned out. He can't say if there was a drop kick or not. Paul was like half asleep. Yeah, I really was zoning out towards the end there. During the final comments, he's like with his eyes closed. He's like, wake up, we got to go live. I know. I was pulling a Kelsi where I was the one falling. It was so weird. I didn't fall asleep the whole time. I was fully awake, but I'm the one stumbling and bumbling right now, and you're not. It's so weird. So you predicted it. Zach thinks it as well. Tanahashi versus Jericho down the road. He's saying it'll happen at Wrestle Kingdom. But let's ask Zach. Do you think that'll be a good match? Do you think it'll be a good match? I think their styles kind of can mesh. More than Okada and Jericho? I think so. Tanahashi doesn't like tables. Tanahashi doesn't like all that playing around. But remember Tanahashi doesn't do a lot of flipping around stuff either. So, I mean, he's kind of a ground-based kind of guy, I think, other than when he does high fly flow. I don't know why I can't say that. I never can say it. It's a tongue twister. I don't know. I mean, I feel like their styles might clash as well. So we'll see. We will see. Who was it that Tanahashi faced that they teased the table and that was such a big part of their match? Was it Kenny? I can't remember who he faced where they kept teasing the use of the table, even though, Tanahashi was saying, I don't use tables. I don't like doing stuff outside of the ring. That was with Okada. So he's saying all that, building up Okada or Kenny? He didn't like, remember, he didn't like Kenny's style of using tables. That's what I thought. That was Kenny. So Kenny, he didn't like Kenny doing all this flary stuff. And so how is he going to like wrestling Jericho? It would be even worse. I don't know. We'll see. I did want to circle back. I predicted this, and I don't know if it'll come true. But even before the Naito Ibushi match, I thought Naito was going to win. Ibushi will win G1, and we'll get Okada and Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom. I think to me that's the perfect scenario of Okada and Ibushi would be. Oh my god! I just think that would be kind of rushed. But at Wrestle Kingdom, I mean, that's not that rushed. Yeah, for Ibushi to ascend to the top, yeah. Not if he wins the G1. I guess. Whatever. I don't want it to be him. You just don't like Ibushi. I'm going to get heat. I don't care. You guys can thumbs down the video right now. I'm not a big Ibushi fan because if you put Ibushi and Osprey, side by side, all day, every day, I'm picking Osprey. More charismatic, just as good wrestling-wise. If they're the same wrestling-wise, but one has charisma and the other is just kind of like a weird personality, I'll take Osprey all day, every day. To me, Ibushi's kind of got like a flat personality. Right. I don't know. That's why I don't buy into him. So you guys can hate me all you want. That's my truthful opinion. I got to be honest. And it's always okay to agree to disagree. If you guys like him, all the more power to you. I don't care. I don't care. There's the first one. It didn't take long. I can't believe you said that. People are saying it. It's fine. Peter Davies. I'll take Osprey any day. Peter Davies, I'll give you the shout out. She's crazy. I don't know how she wasn't excited when we were at MSG and he beat Naito. I rooted against the Golden Lovers. I was the only person at Strong Style Evolve to root for the Young Bucks in that building against the Golden Lovers. Everyone who were Bucks fans totally turned and cheered for Golden Lovers.
did.
I was like, you posers! You posers!
I'm not a poser.
They are fly-by-night fans.
No.
Yes, of the Young Bucks. People who are like, oh, I love the Young Bucks. Then those same people won in Young Bucks at Double or Nothing. That's how I got my Young Bucks. People felt so guilty for not being true Young Bucks fans that they gave me their Young Bucks.
I love it.
Because they rooted for the Golden Lovers.
I'm tuning you out because everybody, not an Ibushi fan, sad face.
Whatever.
Ibushi is better than Omega. Ibushi is cool.
Ibushi's not better than Omega, and he's not better than Osprey.
Jason P.
He has no charisma at all.
I will say he doesn't have like any sort of real personality.
He has no facial expressions at all.
Jason PS3, a simple boo.
Whatever.
Boo. Boo.
You're usually the heel. What's happening?
Yeah, well,
our roles are reversed.
You're the one that's hating on Ibushi, who's fantastic.
He's all right. Whatever.
Ibushi is a treasure.
He must be protected at all costs. That's fine, guys. It's okay to agree to disagree. Don't hate on me too hard.
I like it that there's a second delay on
yeah,
our
and then
video,
you just
so
saw
I just
me
got
booing
to
me.
see, I got to see me getting in Kelsi's face booing her. Giving her the big bellowing boo.
That's sad.
I'm
the heel.
So as this show comes to an end, basically, I think a lot of people, and I feel this way, this is kind of New Japan's SummerSlam. It's their big event away from Wrestle Kingdom. I thought it was a good show. But now the Miguel wants to know if you like Osprey more than Ibushi because he's more photogenic.
No, I think he's more charismatic and he has more facial expressions and he's way better of a seller. I'm not really a big fan of Ibushi selling either. It's all right. I'm just digging the hole deeper. Whatever.
Yeah.
Controversy. It doesn't matter. As long as you guys are talking, if you're booing me, it doesn't matter. I'm getting some kind of reaction. That's what wrestlers do, and that's what I'm doing in my little heelish turn here.
That's suddenly she's Roman Reigns.
Oh,
doesn't matter if you hate her. She's selling shirts.
I wish I could sell shirts, but we don't have any.
Zach saying he's still geeking out about Kenta.
We read your comment earlier, Zach, actually about all the possible matchups. How exciting.
Yeah. There's definitely plenty to look forward to in this G1 when you think of some of the new faces that are going to be joining G1 along with all the regular ones. More heat for you. I
know. People are saying it's blasphemy and stuff. No, it's not that he can't speak English. There's lots of Japanese talents that I love. I love Okada. Okada's like one of my favorite wrestlers ever. To me, give me Okada over Ibushi any day. Any day, ever. Okada, not Ibushi.
Well, you're going to get Okada and Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom.
No.
Just remember that on June 9th or whatever today's date is.
Well, then I'll be rooting for Okada all the way.
Boy, I'll be torn there.
Come on, don't root for Ibushi.
I think I'll just have to take Ibushi.
Just to upset me.
Yep, just like I took the Golden Lovers against the Young Bucks. We
had a war, and you took Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix, so the Lucha Bros over the Young Bucks as well.
So now we start looking forward to G1, and
people are saying Naito would win.
Right in time, Peter Davies saying he thinks Naito is going to win. The G1 going to get the kickoff in Dallas basically a month from yesterday. So Moxley looks like that's going to be a perfect fit for him to be in Dallas. I said it as we watched the show. I think Kenta being in Dallas and getting a big time opponent could also be a good FU to WWE because obviously Hideo Itami was not used as well in NXT as he should have been. Now, granted, big caveat there is he was hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And so they never really got any momentum with him. So I'll be fair to NXT there that, he couldn't be what they wanted him to be because he kept getting hurt.
People are saying Moxley could win G1. I don't see him winning. I see him having a great performance, but do not see him winning. I think that would be huge. He just got there. We don't even know if he's full-time because once TV starts for AEW, people are saying that's it. How much could he possibly do for New Japan then? So to me, no, I think it's dangerous to have him win. Have him have a great showing. That's awesome. Bring eyes to your G1 tournament. I think that's smart by having him involved. And regardless, I know you do this comparison about WWE saying, oh, there's going to be a big blow with these guys being in the G1, especially because they're doing a G1 show in the US. But separate and apart from WWE, it's going to be a great tournament, period.
Oh, yeah.
This pyramid this tournament is stacked.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, when you're putting Moxley and Shingo into the mix, and now Kenta on top of some of the other great guys you're already going to have in it, I think it's going to be a great tournament. And I've been on record saying this G1 tournament, really Best of Super Juniors, New Japan Cup, are one of the things that make New Japan great, because they make all these shows that are seemingly like house shows, even they make them important because they're part of a tournament, and WWE needs to do something like that. I've said that in the past on the podcast. Make it so these house shows have some sort of consequence, and if you had a tournament like this that went on for a month, you could do that. And that's why I think New Japan is brilliant with the G1.
And so many tournaments too. I mean, if you look in these past few months, we've had the New Japan Cup, the Best of Super Juniors tournaments, and we're about to go into the G1. So all in a very short, condensed period of time. And these are like I can't even speak. These are pay-per-view level quality type matches. It's insane. And you get that night after night, week after week with these. It's awesome. But it is a very tough schedule for the wrestlers.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I mean,
geez.
They're there for a month, especially if they don't live in Japan. They're there for a month. I'm more impressed. I said this to you at some point during Super Juniors. Kevin Kelly's schedule is unbelievable, because while there's a rotating cycle of analysts, whether it's Caprice, Rocky, whatever, Callis, Kevin Kelly is always the play-by-play guy.
He lives there now.
He never gets a break.
Not officially, but I think he still lives here. But still, he's always over there, always. I think an interesting thing, Zach said, Kenta, hope he has a great showing in G1. It would be awesome if him and Naito faced off. That would be amazing. Like for the IC title belt, that would be a really great match. Really great.
Jason PS3, I agree with you. A men's tournament, a women's tournament, why not WWE? But then again, they can't even worry about improving their house shows. They got to worry about improving their TV shows right now.
Yeah. They're like really bad. Yeah.
So I think circling back to Evil going singles, and
Sonata,
I think there was a little rivalry with him and Ishii. So I think that could be a battle for that never open weight title. But
that would be good.
I think Ishii would need to keep that. Who else in matches tonight do we think? We know Osprey is going against Eagles next. Who might Sonata go after if he is going the singles route?
Well, who's Okada's next match too? That's another thing we don't know yet.
Yeah. I mean, who could be Okada's next match? That could be interesting.
All I want is Suzuki facing Moxley. That's all I have on my brain. Suzuki, Moxley, Suzuki, Moxley, Suzuki, Moxley. I want it to happen. I think it could be a great match, really gold. Actually, Suzuki, we talked about this on our podcast, of course. Suzuki tweeted out this week that he wants to face Moxley, and he also wants to face Chris Jericho. I think that would be a more appealing match, Jericho and Suzuki, than Tanahashi, Jericho.
I agree with that.
I think it would be more hard hitting. Their styles would go together better.
I think what Peter Davies just said too. I know it'll happen somewhere down the road. Ishii versus Shingo will be phenomenal.
Oh my God, that match will blow my mind.
Yeah,
it'll be hard hitting. It'll be beautiful. Yes, Peter, that is a great match to look forward to.
More
whenever
folks,
it happens.
More folks joining us. Thanks to Anunnaki Sinombre. Let's see if I'm even remotely close on that. But regardless, thanks for joining us. Okada versus Juice. It's not happening, but Juice is my favorite wrestler.
Mike, you like Juice too? Me too. I argued for him for like 50 minutes. So I love Juice as well. I mean, he's not my favorite, but I still like him a lot. And I know Juice and Okada is not happening, but Juice against somebody higher tier on the card would be nice. Not against Chase Owens again. They had some moments together in their tag match because they've already faced. So we'll see.
So I was close. He says Anunnaki Sinombre. Now I got a second chance. How did I do it there?
Well, I don't know. We'll see. You and your pronunciations, needing to pronounce names right. I can't even speak regular words right now, so forgive me, guys. Paul's worried about intense names, and I can't even say.
Well, I like
pay-per-view.
I like to shout out people and at least get close on their names.
I'm just bad. I can't speak.
Um,
So what was your match of the night officially? Was it Osprey Dragon Lee?
I got it right. I got it perfect.
Oh, good.
Osprey versus Dragon Lee definitely was. And
Over Naito and Ibushi?
yes, but Naito and Ibushi would have been second.
How do you rank Okada versus Jericho?
Yeah, I would probably put that. I don't even know if I'd put that as third best.
I wouldn't put it as third best either, and I think it's, one of Okada's lesser title defenses. That was just going to be the nature of it. They have different styles. Like Jericho, not back in the day when he could do a lot more and he was a lot younger. He's still the GOAT. Let me make that clear. I love Jericho. I think his character evolution, it's constant change for him. It's genius. He's an amazing guy. There's nobody better, really, in that sense. And wrestling-wise, he's also a GOAT. Long-time, great matches. Just right now, he's wrestling more of a brawl-like style, as I said earlier. To me, it just did not work with Okada. But there was great parts in the match. It wasn't terrible.
No.
There were parts that worked and flowed. Like, I have some specific stuff written down, if you bring the notebooks back over here.
Yeah, upon review, I guess I would say that was probably the third best match because there were some great brutal spots and stuff. So
the use of the table, that was good. I liked the code breaker attempt by Jericho, got countered into Okada's neck breaker. I love that. The springboard, I can't even speak, springboard drop kick with a change of direction by Jericho onto Okada. That looked good. There were really a lot of moments where Jericho did look really good, but there was other parts where their sequences together just looked a little sloppy. And I don't know why.
GRUS512, thanks for joining us. And says, can Jericho hit the gym, though?
Well, he has been hitting the gym, is what's funny. He's been working out in Dave Bautista's MMA gym, and a lot, too. So I don't know what the deal is, but...
Well, the deal is he's 50 years old.
Well, yeah, he can only get so much in shape, I guess. I didn't think he looked bad. I thought he looked a lot better than last time he was in New Japan.
Well, he looks a lot better than me, that's for sure.
Shut up. God, I'm so over it. Self-bashing.
Yvonne Bass, thanks for joining us. She says, excited about the possibility of Moxley being used in New Japan. Woke up to your show. Good morning.
Good morning. We really enjoyed the Dominion show, and Moxley has really looked good in both of his matches so far, I thought. The Umino match, of course, Uminu's a young lion. He faced Umino tonight. Moxley looked good, but it was a really short match, so it is what it is. And hopefully, Bass, you know that there are spoilers. I hope you've watched Dominion already.
Good morning. We're about to say goodnight.
Yeah, I know. Very soon. Very, very soon.
Yeah, very soon. The bed is calling.
So with all these people from AEW, this is a side convo real quick as we're winding down. All these AEW people working with New Japan Pro Wrestling, people are speculating some form of relationship here between AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. But people are also speculating that this relationship or possible relationship is being kept quiet because of the relationship that does exist between Ring of Honor and New Japan. So until that is over, they're saying that there might be some kind of secret working together between AEW and New Japan, and that is why you think Kenny Omega did not say goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. It just was strange as Okada, as popular as Omega was in New Japan. If he was leaving and never going to wrestle there again, there would have been some sort of goodbye.
Yes, like Kushida got.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, there's no chance that there's not either a working arrangement or there's some sort of thought that Kenny Omega is going to wrestle in New Japan again.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Only time will tell about that. But the crowd pop would be insane. Or, though, would they feel betrayed?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because he left. Because he's technically not full-time with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I don't know. Only, like I said, time will tell. We can't really speculate too much. It's either going to be they're going to accept him back or they're not.
Yep, we'll see. Any final thoughts? I think we can about wrap things up here.
Overall, I think it was a decent Dominion, but not my favorite. Not my favorite by far. I mean, I really liked last year's and the year before. So to me, decent, not the greatest. Hopefully, Moxley and Jericho brought a lot of eyes. Favorite match, Osprey versus Dragon Lee, of course. And glad Ishii won the belt. That was another big surprise, and I'm happy to see that have happened. And other great moments like Kenta coming back well, not coming back, Kenta coming back to a non-WWE ring,
Right.
but for the, coming to New Japan, which is a big surprise because he's usually a Noah guy.
Right.
So that was a big thing. And then, of course, people being announced that they're going to join the G1, like Moxley and Shingo.
Yep.
So that's my final thoughts.
Our conversation is frozen up, so if you guys are commenting, we're not ignoring you. It's just the last comment we see is Mike Banks is saying that Jericho should wear a shirt. So that's going to be the closing comment on our YouTube channel. And we want to thank all you guys who stayed up late and watched the New Japan show, or are getting up early and getting ready to watch it. And hopefully we didn't ruin too much for you. If you haven't watched the show yet, but good show all around, and glad to get a chance to spend a little time with you in the wee hours here in New Orleans.
Sorry, not as sharp as usual.
Speak for yourself. I've been fantastic.
You booed me. That was great. Yeah, I will say that was awesome. I bashed Ibushi. If you guys want to go back and find that, I think that'll be people's favorite parts, so that they can then go find me on at Super Kicking It and yell at me more on Twitter.
Yes.
So if you guys want to do that, it's SUPERKICKINGIT. Paul, where can we find you?
I am at pboron88. If you want to tweet me anything, that's fine as well. And don't forget, our podcast drops every Friday
on Wrestling Inc.'s YouTube channel, which you're watching right now, and on all of Wrestling Inc.'s audio platforms as well.
Usually at 7 Eastern time.
Yes. This week was late.
It was a little late this week because we actually recorded it Friday morning.
At 6 a.m. when it was supposed to be released, yes.
So but make sure you check us out. We'll I'm sure have more discussion about that. And on this episode, we've got an interview with our artist, Eric Hodson, including a special giveaway. So make sure you join us for that, because we're going to be giving away a couple of StarCast exclusive posters that Eric Hodson made. So make sure you check us out for that.
We also have an interview with Colt Cabana we're releasing, which I'm super pumped for you guys to see, because it's a great interview, I think.
And I'm sure we'll have some more New Japan talk. I can already tell you we're not going to have a lot of WWE Super Showdown talk.
None.
We're not.
Little.
We have not seen any of it, but I think I am going to go back and watch The Undertaker Goldberg, because obviously that has been a topic of discussion. And so I kind of want to see it for myself, just to see how bad it really was. So
yeah, I mean, we'll talk a little bit about it, but I don't want to go
limited,
too far. Yeah, I think we will talk more Dominion, because I need to talk more eloquently than tonight. Okay. So we'll talk more about that too. Originally, we were saying we're not going to go back into it, but we are. I've decided we are, because I'm bumbling, stumbling. Thank you guys for staying up with us. It's early, so good night for us, because it's early in the morning, but we're too tired to continue on for the rest of the day. Hope you guys enjoyed Dominion. Thanks for sticking with us.
Thanks for joining us.
That's the finish.